Howdy, my name is David Petratos, and I'm a filmmaker, and I just made one of, I don't know if it's my best films, but a film that I'm really proud of. Put it on at a film festival, it went really well, and I just want to break down a lot of the things that happen in the film, because I put a lot of work into it, and a lot of people had a lot of questions about it, and I want to be able to inspire other people, and I hope that you can take the knowledge from the stuff that I did here and apply it to your own stuff. And also, people are just interested. You don't need an explanation. You clicked on the video, you know why you're here. So I'm not going to dilly-dally around the point. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to go through it and explain each thing. First off, got a donut. I have a donut in almost all of my films, like 90% of my full-length films that got a donut in them, and so I got a little donut. Actually, we're going back to the camera because I got a fun little story. Pretty much every time I make one of I do these yearly for the film fest. Pretty much every time I do one of these, I want a donut in it. So what I'll do is I'll go to a local Dunkin' Donuts and I'll be like, hey, I'm working on a film. Is there any chance you could give me a free donut or two? You do it near the end of the day, and 9 times out of 10, you get a free dozen donuts. You just say, working on film, could I have some donuts to use as a prop? And they throw them out at the end of the day. And if there's not a manager around, they will give you a free dozen donuts. I don't know, you could probably do that if you're not making a film as well, but I'm doing it for my films, and it's a lot of fun to do that. And free donuts, yeah, that's my fun little story. So, eating the donut, as you do, very fun. Turn on the TV. If you couldn't tell, it's very obvious to me. I don't know how obvious it is to other people, but I just tracked this screen on. I recorded my TV screen. Oop, that's fast. I recorded my TV screen with just static on it, and then I composited this in kind of badly. There's edges, but whatever. You get the point. I'm watching TV. And then there plays a clip from one of my other short films. Oh, also, this clip was supposed to be me. Oh, you can't see my mouse. Oh, dear. Let's fix that. It's an important thing to be able to see. Yeah, this shot was taken. It was supposed to be me like clicking through channels, so you can actually see my finger move over here. Fun little detail. There I go, moving my finger for no reason. And this is a clip from my last short film, The Path, which you can see here in all of its glory. 1,723 people have viewed that. That is an absurd number of people. Can you imagine if 1,723 people were in a room with you? Either way, did they watch this? This cool film, that's my cousin, great actress. She did a fantastic job. I think she's on Twitter and Twitch, Splishby. Great actress either way. This is a fun film as well. Not what we're talking about, but look at these spiders. That was a cool effect. Ooh. Anyway, back to my film. We play a quick clip from that. There's more spiders there. It's fun. Interesting fact about this shot, actually, technically it's a different film, but it's got some really bad, like, fake depth blur. It's because I got this creature animated, and the animation wasn't, like, perfect. So I like, made a fake blur in the background to kind of make it look like it was in the background. It looks really bad to me. Some people might notice. Someone at the film fest noticed, and they were like, oh, that was a cool little glitch effect. And I was like, yes, totally. Intentional glitch effect. Bad fake snake, too. Making that video was very rushed. Also, this video, all of this was done in a month. So that's fun. See the cars, we get some first glitches. I've always wanted to use data moshing in one of my films, and this was a cool excuse to do it. This effect, so data moshing is that like glitch where it kind of transitions between two shots, or the flow of the pixels gets messed up. I'll explain it more later. But this is an effect called AE Pixel Sort. It is a plugin for After Effects that I definitely legally purchased and did not pirate, and it's just the cool lines. Yeah, this is data moshing where the pixels kind of flow from one frame to another. Flash into that other area. There were some fake bugs in that shot. I really like how that turned out. Data moshing can be kind of inconsistent because it's actually glitching the video. What it's doing is it's like taking data from the MP4 file, and it's taking the data from the MP4 file and it's like removing certain things, and then it's trying to compile it back together. So it is an actual glitch. That's not like an effect I have much control over. And it leads to these really cool results where like you can see her face. Yeah, you can see this shot basically mirrored in the next shot, which is super dope. Like, I can't think of another way to do that that wouldn't be a royal pain to set up. You don't need to see my other tabs. Yeah, but this is so cool. Look at that. She's tracked on, and then as she moves through it, it disappears. There's another example of this later in the film where something disappears as I move through it. It's just a really cool effect. Data moshing is fun. Also, plugin for After Effects is Data Mosh. I think it's just called Data Mosh. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, it's just Data Mosh After Effects. Tons of information about it. It's $50. I'm sure there's non-legal ways you could get it too. I wouldn't know about that though. And then we get to hear the start of something very cool. These are all shots in the hallway. You know, I was inspired by the Backrooms type videos where it's a CG render with like the cool glitches on it. And I wanted to do something like that for my videos. I've wanted to do something like that for a while, but there's never a good reason. And this film was basically just my excuse to do the list of ideas I had. I'm going to quickly navigate to try to find that file because it's a bit old. Oh, it might be on my hard drive, which I don't have on me. Hold on. All right, I found it. It was on my drive. Look at that, real-time editing, because I'm not editing this video. Anyway, always wanted to do something with the Backrooms, and I made a couple versions of this scene, and this was the final one, ultimately. This is what it looks like in the viewport. If I press this button, it's going to do a cool thing called lag. That's the true horror villain of this. I'll talk while it does that. Always want to do something Backrooms-based. If you don't know, the Backrooms is... well, for one, it's a really scary, like, horror story. Like, you can be doing anything. You're just sitting on a chair, leaning on a wall or something, when suddenly you fall through the floor and you end up in this endless maze of halls called the Backrooms. Really scary concept. A lot of really cool art around it. But this cool guy called Kane Pixels made a little web series about it a bit ago. It's ongoing. He's doing more stuff about it currently. But what he did was he basically made renders in Blender of a little camera walking through these hallways. And then he put a little VHS filter over it, and it looked freaking amazing and went viral, and it was awesome. And I've always wanted to do something similar where I take like a render and kind of make it look real. I mean, I don't think anyone really thought this was real. I got a lot of people coming up to me being like, "Wow, that was a cool render. How'd you render that?" So I don't understand. Like, I look at this, I know it's a render instantly. I'm very curious what the headspace of someone who isn't a 3D artist is when looking at this type of stuff. Like, do you know immediately that it's fake? Or eventually do you realize, oh, well, you couldn't have a giant head in there. It's gotta be fake. I digress. That's silly things. Anyway, it's loaded now because my computer's amazing because I'm amazing as well. This is the scene. You can't see it at all, but I made an incredibly detailed water shader. Let me solo this real quick with the slash key. Actually, hold on. Let me... Okay, so some people might be interested, some might not. I've added screencast keys, so now you can see what I'm doing when I type stuff. And now I won't exclude anyone, and I also won't have to over-explain. Yeah, so I made this really cool water shader. It's based on a tutorial by Ian Hubert, which, by the way, let's go on another tangent. If you don't know who Ian Hubert is... freaking amazing guy. If you do anything with Blender, I highly recommend looking at his stuff. Such a smart guy. He's got a Patreon for like $7 a month where he gives away a ton of immensely useful assets. Like, here, I'll give you a preview because I'm paying money to this fine man. 2 Patreons. I don't know what that means. Yeah. He's just like, he gives away the most amazing assets for Blender. Like, here he talks for like 20 minutes about this insanely cool render he made. I wish he'd show me the render. I wanted fast things. He talks about animating massive things versus little things in Blender, and both of those are really complicated topics. He goes over it in this awesome video. So many things. He talks about how he made that video. I have this bad example. He made a tool that automatically tracks faces. That's crazy hard to do if you know anything about 3D. He talks about it here. I wish it was easy to find quick examples. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look, he made a little face there. That's crazy. That's really difficult to do with footage. And he did it, and there's a whole tutorial here. $7 a month. I highly recommend them. But he also gives away all these cool assets that I'm not finding any of with my little quick scroll. Yeah, like these photo scans of destroyed cars, which would save so much time if you need to do like a car graveyard or cool junk metal. Hell, I could have had some of these things floating in the water here. It would have been sick. Highly recommend him. He also made a tutorial on how to make insanely detailed water. And I was like, I want water in my little thing. All right. And I made this water. It's pretty cool. I mean, like, if you see this in the right setting, of course, in this video, you don't see it at all. And I'm just rambling about something that's practically invisible. But, come on. It looks really good when it's rendered out. Also, this is Eevee, Blender's real-time render engine. It's not quite real-time with all the things I have in here, but, you know, it's really fast, much faster than trying to do this with Cycles, which is the faster, or the better looking, but much more computer-intensive program. Anyway, I digress. This is the scene. So many cool things. Oh, just a compilation of assets. I barely made anything here. I just put it all together. This floor was, it's a part of the Sanctus Library, which is this massive library of materials, also a paid add-on. I'm just telling you to buy all these things, but there's a lot of free version. There's a free version of everything I'm talking about, except Ian Hubert. Buy Ian Hubert. This is a library of a bunch of tools. You could do this on your own. You could find tutorials online if you wanted. But either way, the floor is made with that. It's really cool. It's a procedural material. Like, this is made with math inside of Blender, and it's like animated and stuff. That's wild. There's this TV that I modeled, and it's such a great model, dude. It's a box with some metal texture slapped on. Most basic model. There's a little image here, or video here I found. I think it's actually also from Ian, of a staticky TV screen. There's a little light on it, so it emits light, because Eevee doesn't like just emissive surfaces. Then we got these railings here and these tubes that are connected to nothing, like my brain tubes. And these are all from Production Crate. Like, I didn't do any of the work in this scene, dude. I actually work for these guys now. I'm revamping all their assets to work in Blender, which is cool. Massive library of assets. They got a bunch of stuff that, a bunch of 3D models here, which is dope. Most of it's paid, but some of it's free. Actually, anything without a star is free. So, like, these buildings are all free. That's cool. This is the pack that I used for this video. It comes with all these assets, and it's just free and awesome to mess around with. It's like Legos, dude. It's awesome. Also, Production Crate has a bunch of other things like magic effects, explosions, and it's all pre-keyed. Good website. Go look at Production Crate. They got visual effects tutorials too. If you're a filmmaker, Production Crate, man. A lot of this stuff's free. I'm not going to ramble on about that forever. That's not the point. That's not why you're here. Unless it is. I don't know why you're here. Also, I don't know what it is in the modern versions of Blender, because I'm used to using an older version, so I use the old key map. But if you press Shift F and then Tab, you can just walk on things, which is crazy cool. If you ever want to record a camera animation, you can just go into your camera, turn on the keyframes, and then, Shift F, walk around a bit, and then you can smooth them out later. That's easy walking animation. And actually, let's talk about that, because someone actually asked me about that at the film fest. That's what I did. I walked around with the Tab Shift F thing. Pretty cool. You have to activate Blender 2.7 not navigation, key map. I'm using the 2.7 key map because that's what I'm used to. It's not the most up-to-date version, but it's the fly and gravity key, I think. You can figure it out on your own. Yeah, so you walk around with the camera like this, but then it's just a really smooth animation. So what do? My man Ian's got your back again. He made this, you don't even have to pay for this one. It's a free plugin that he made where he just recorded himself walking a bunch. And you press a button and your camera is just shaking now. That's crazy. Look, it's so easy. I get rid of it. Boom, smooth. I put it back on. It's shaky. Crazy. And actually, this is a very useful thing. So I'm going to quickly... I don't know. If you want, I can do a tutorial later. Tell me in the comments. I'm not going to do a tutorial now on how to do the walking animation fully. Then you get to end here. Got some more photo scanned assets. Those are all from Ian. Got this TV. I think I modeled that. Static texture. It's just static. I don't know where I got it. Photo scanned plants look really cool. And like, you can run this in real time if you want. Look at that. Look at this. It's like playing a game. That is insane. I didn't even realize it worked real time. Oh, gosh. This was impossible when I first started doing 3D work, and now it's just, I'm here in this scene, real time, walking around. Blender's amazing. That's really all there is to talk about here, though. I don't think this file has any other animation. Yeah, it's just me looking around. Oh, actually, the flashlight, kind of hard to tell in the film, but it's got like the texture of a real flashlight, because flashlights aren't perfectly round. It's just not a sphere of light. It's if you look at a real flashlight beam, it's not this. It's not just a beam like that. It's got detail to it. It's got these weird refractions. It's got like the bright spot in the middle. So I kind of recreated that in Blender. That's not Blender. I kind of recreated that in Blender by using a bunch of different point lights of different values. And little cheat here, but I have one at negative 750 watts. So it just makes a dark spot in the middle, which is a cool little trick. Yeah, I love this scene. There's a thing over here that you can't see at all. There's a little animated, like, whatever these are called. There's a couple of them. He's just not visible at all in the final scene, but they're there. Also some wires and stuff. There's not much more to talk about. There's a fire escape here for some reason. It just leads to nowhere. Everything leads to nowhere, because when it's rendered, you don't see it. And if you don't see it, it doesn't need to exist. Gotta love that. Look, you can't tell anything about these cables and wires. Where does it all go? It goes to the Backrooms. Alright, let's talk more about the film. What happens next? Ooh, spooky. Walking around. Ooh, reaction shot. I think my acting here is terrible. Ooh, we got a little glimpse of some data moshing there. And then we got what I think is probably the creepiest imagery in the whole scene, the whole show. You got this creepy head of Little Mo Fades. And if you don't know who Little Mo Fades is, he's just a really cool guy. I made a video like a year, how long has it been? A year ago, called Wake Up. It was this cool VR video that featured him. You can look around. VR videos, wow. He was a really popular meme at the time. He got like big eyes and he'd say wake up, and people thought that was really funny for some reason. So I made this dope animation of it, and I got in contact with him after that. I've been talking to him on and off, and he agreed to act in my film. He sent me like a photo scan of his head, which I used for ooh, look at this, for that one part. Actually, I want to talk more about this film before I start going off the rails. Cowbelly posted the video on his channel. This was like a collaboration between me and him. I got paid for it. 12 million views. That is insane. They got so many views. And that's why I was able to get in contact with him, because I had what's essentially a viral video. But that's crazy. And it kind of paid off. Like, I made that film a year ago, and now I'm making this film, and I'm getting to collaborate with the guy. That's really cool. Yeah, he recorded some footage for me, sent me a 3D scan of his head, and I made this monstrosity. It's the 3D scan, like the hair is literally just weird geometry from the scan. It's an app called, hold on. It's hard to find a good 3D scanning app. The app is called Face Scanner, and it's, let's go to my camera. It looks like that little head thing. It's called Face Scanner. It's hard to find. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. And if I don't remember, tell me in the comments, and I'll give you a link, because that's cool. If you want to do this, that's a free app that scans your head for you with an iOS device. Tell me, I'll send it to you if I don't remember to put it in the description. Anyway, yeah, so he sent me that, and then I cut out his eyes. I added these CG eyes. They're literally like, you look up Blender Eye. It's like a free asset I found, or maybe I made those. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It's like there's so many tutorials and resources on how to make eyes in Blender. That's not too hard. And then the blood, he's got a little blood under his eyes, because creepy. And that is done with Substance Painter, which is free if you're a student, or at least it was when I got it. And then Adobe purchased it, so now it's different, but I have the old version, the before Adobe version. Kind of looks around at you. Is there a frame of darkness here? What happens there? Is that an error in my flawless short film? Really over the top acting on my end. This has a lot going on, actually. So, jeez. So he comes toward the camera, and then his eyes turn into like this black animal eye texture I found online. And as he gets closer, things happen to the camera. There's this plugin for After Effects that I got. I don't remember if it cost money or not. I remember I didn't pay money for it. Oh, it upgraded? The button. It's called Glitch Control, and it lets you do some cool glitch stuff. Maxon. Oh, don't. I logged in on another computer, and now it wants me to do things. Whatever. It's called Glitch Control, and it has the features... Come on. Yeah. So it has this cool effect where it like stretches the pixels out. I used that a few... Oh, it's open. Hello. Yeah, there's Datamosh. Let's Datamosh. Give me any file. Literally any file. Come on, After Effects. Let me show off the things. No, I'm not paying. Well, actually, I did I don't have to pay because I'm a student. Also, get Red Giant. If you are a student or a human being, get Red Giant. It's got all of the features for anything. It's got so many different features. It's just this massive suite of plugins. It's got amazing color correction tools. It's got like color grading things. I've said color like 4 times. There's so much. Like, hold on, this, go to effect. They got Magic Bullet, which is all the color grading stuff that I rave about because it's awesome. They got Trap Code, which is like particle simulations, 3D strokes, 3D shapes, whatever Star Glow is, 3D particle simulations in After Effects, really cool. HDRI image stuff. Then they got Universe, which is this massive collection of just any effect that doesn't come with After Effects, like chromatic aberration, heat displacement, whatever that is, RGB separation. Can generate really cool noise stuff. Got all these cool glow features, motion graphics. It can just do like logo animations for you, whatever all these other things are. Really cool stylized things like the VHS effect that you see in every film and YouTube video ever. That's them. That's just right there. All these cool things. Shrink ray just makes things look like they were made out of miniatures. It's really cool. I wish I could demonstrate, but I have to activate my license. These cool typing effects, a ton of transitions, VHS transitions, unfold, all this cool stuff. And it's free if you're a student or if you lie about being a student. It's really, really great. Highly recommend it. Optical glow is the best glow effect in existence. It like glow effects can be so finicky sometimes. It's always perfect. And super comp. Someone asked me how I did the fire in one of my other short films. It's all super comp. You take a trashy looking fire. I wish I could demonstrate. I'm sorry. It'll merge your layers together in really pretty ways. And like sometimes you're working, you got like a fire. So say you got 3 layers, you got the background, you got a little green screen guy, and then you got fire in the middle. Sometimes you want the fire to glow and you want it to like go over the character, like you kind of bleed over the edge because that's what real life glow would do. But if you try to do that, then maybe the lighting's too hot on the character's forehead, so you put the glow on top of everything, but now the character's forehead's glowing. You don't want that. Super Comp will let you apply a glow only to the behind layer, but it'll still bleed over. I could talk about this for hours. I highly recommend you check it out. That's not a recommendation, it's a threat. Check it out if you haven't already. Anyway, glitch control. Yes, that's the thing I was talking about. What layer is this? Yeah, so glitch control. Really cool little plugin that I acquired. It's got like RGB controls. That's what you'd expect. You enable it and it lets you, kind of shift the red, green, and blue channels around a bit. Did I save that? All right, sure. You can animate that, do some cool effects there. Is there an adjustment layer or something? Why does it look like this? Oh, it looks weird to me. Well, let's go to the point where it's in focus, then you can see it better. Yeah, little RGB effects. And then the background's transparent, which is why it's looking a little weird. It's got displacement effects, and it can do just this weird-ass effect. That's useful for something. I used it at one point because it's just cool and creepy and weird. You can adjust the position, how everything's spaced, the number of tiles. Sure. And then it's got this cool effect, which I like a lot. It's called Stretch, which is what I was using in the film earlier, where it just stretches out the pixels. Sure, why not? That's cool. I use that a bunch of times because it just looks really neat. I don't know, that's dope. And the other one that we just saw is Color Cycle. Don't really understand what it's doing, but it makes this cool cycling, glitchy, trippy effect. You can like combine the color channels and do weird stuff. Sure, why not? That's fun. Okay, that's an unintelligible image now. That's really fun because I like glitch effects. It's another reason I made this film so glitchy. I wanted to use these things. There's the glitch effect there. There's the stretch effect there. You can kind of blur out the edges. It's neat. You can also see the flashlight reflecting in his eye. That's all real time-ish. I mean, it took like a day to render. No, it didn't. It took like 4 hours to render. It's really not that bad. Eevee's really cool. And then we got the Calamaros ad. I made that in like a day as a joke for another video. You can see the full thing on my channel as well. This is the calamaros. Do you love the taste of calamari? What if it was a cereal?
Calamari any time of the day with our new breakfast, lunch, and dinner varieties. Calamaros are completely safe and loved by thousands.
That part is completely different in the actual calamaros video, which you should check out on my channel, PetRat Productions, which you're on right now, obviously.
Worldwide.
It's just a fun There's not much to say here.
Stores we are sold at.
At the end, though, there's a QR code. And if you scan the QR code, it brings you to Twitter. And it makes you tweet this. Brian did that. So, I love calamaros. Actually, no, you scan it. I'm not telling you what it says. Scan it. Tweet it. Little reference to a Megamart here, which is a really cool art installation in New York, I want to say, but I'm probably wrong. Just look up Omega Mart if you haven't, because it's just dope as hell. And this number is supposed to rickroll you, but I don't think it actually works, so don't call that. And then we get this fun little joke here. He wants to run away.
Calamaro is not responsible for any
the fast text. Calamaro is not responsible for any deaths, loss of teeth, bone decay, heterosexuality, memory loss, or spontaneous combustion, or other physical effects of our product. And everyone just kind of half listens to it, and then when I get to heterosexuality, they kind of sit up and they go, "What?" I think that's really funny.
Shop your own risk.
Shop your own risk. This cool effect, that is the pixel sort. Now I can show it to you actually more. AE pixel sorter. Look at this, it's so cool. You can adjust like what percentage of the pixels are sorted. That's that cool glitchy effect we get at the end of the film as well. There's so many features. You can adjust the length, whatever. The cycle, that's the cool effect we just kind of saw where it looks like it's kind of folding in on itself. So cool. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. Like, if someone had to design that, that's dope. Not me though, I just used it in my funny short film. Then we get another data mosh, where we end up here. And get ready, because this is beautiful. Mwah! Oh, scared David, that's not beautiful. This dope animation of a little flesh creature thing, dude, I don't know. Absolutely amazing animation. And this was made by my good friend Zophiecat, just really good animator. It's a fun rig to mess around with. Yeah. She did a great job. Blocking phases. Here's what it looks like when it was being blocked out. There was supposed to be a shot where he jumps through the TV, but I wasn't able to pull it off in time, so it kind of got cut, which sucks. This is what it looks like in its blocking phase. Little flimsy flesh man just flopping around. I don't know, she did a great job. I'm really, really happy with how they came out. I'm not an animator at all. I could not have done it without her help. And then he runs and he's all floppy and skin man. Ugh. Really cool. And this whole creature was just me roughly modeling in Blender, and then I brought it over to Substance Painter. Blender has this cool feature where you can model something, and then you can load, please. Let me demonstrate. Thanks, baby. So you got your model here, right? And you want to make it look all fleshy and creepy. So you head over to sculpt mode, and they got this cool thing called the cloth sculpt brush. Let me subdivide that a little. Control 2 for those of you who care. And it just let you add, I can't talk. It lets you add like wrinkles and stuff. Let me apply that. What did I do wrong? I ask myself that every day. Subdivide. All right. Come on, baby. Yeah, it just lets you add wrinkles. What? S-H-A-D-E. Oh, come on, Blender, please work with me. Shade smooth. And now everything's all smooth. Yeah, you can add wrinkles, and it makes stuff look gross. A little bit of wrinkles, and you don't have to put in any actual modeling work. If you make it look wrinkly. I do that with all my my little creature designs. I do an art station. Look at me Googling myself. Arts? No, art station. I make a bunch of creatures like this where it's just a bunch of leather and it looks kind of creepy. Like this isn't very complicated. It's a little peanut shape. I added the cloth wrinkle brush, and then I added a little cloth texture, and it looks like I put in a lot of work, and it's this really creepy guy. And you can do that with your own stuff too. Anyway, yeah, that's how I made him. What a normal reaction to seeing a monster on your TV. Huh. Yeah, right here he's supposed to jump through the TV, but I couldn't pull off the effect in time. And then it cuts to my favorite joke in the whole film. I made a whole game show to make this joke, and boy, are we gonna talk about that game show. Get ready. What the fantastic day. What the fantastic day we're having. And such begins my, I was gonna say my favorite section, but it is not, it is my next section. This is the Fall Rats game show. We got things to talk about. I've always wanted to make a game show. I love rats. Who'd have guessed? How could you ever guess such a thing? It's PetRat. It's the channel. It's all my things. I have another YouTube channel called Blockrat. That's a little red rat that's in the Minecraft bit. And I wanted to make a game show. I wanted to have contestants. I wanted to have lights. I've been really into Fall Guys, and I just love the aesthetic of everything being artificial and there always being cameras watching you. So I made a game show in 6 days. It was really hard. So let's talk about this a bit. A few months back, I had the idea to do a game show, and I got this set commissioned. I got it. I paid amazing builder. His name is Raph. You can find him on the interwebs, and he can build for you in exchange for money. Let me see if I can quickly find his old DMs, and I'm going to talk while I do that so that it doesn't get boring and bland. I could just pause the recording, but I've gone too far to stop now. Okay, I'm scrolling back because I've talked to this guy a lot because he's a very smart guy. He does a lot of cool stuff. He's built some other things for me. If you watch my Minecraft videos, whenever I'm showcasing a cool build, he built that. All right, here we go. Mr. Raff built this amazing course for me. It was, he did a fantastic job. This is what it looks like. Just look, it's great. It's beautiful. Oh, chef's kiss. He built that a few months back, and I was like, hey, you know, I've got this course. I want to do this video. Why don't I just do it? I want to make a short film. It's due in like 7 days. Let's make a whole game show in 6 days. What could go wrong? A lot. So I just had the base. I just had the course. I needed to make it interesting. I needed to have obstacles, all that pizzazz. So, well, now I am going to pause the recording while I go try to find the world so I can show it to you. I have found the necessary files. Look at that cut. It's been a few minutes, and I'm actually still waiting for it to load, so I gotta keep talking while it loads. Come on, please load. Oh, it's laggy. That's a good sign. All right. So, yeah, I built this whole course and everything involved with it in not much time. 6 days, to be exact. It's not the most complex. It's just simple parkour and stuff. It's got commands that control everything. There's like buttons up here where I can be like, oh, come on, stop put the gate up. I have everyone dance in front of the gate for a bit, and then I do my thing and I can drop the gate. Wow, cool. And actually, before we continue, I am so lucky to have met so many amazing people online, and this is a great example of it. Look at this. This is the cutest thing you've ever seen. It's a little microphone, but it looks like a rat, because I'm a rat. That's my thing. Oh, and even the speakers, they look like that. These were all made by, I'd call him my good friend, but honestly, I don't even know him super well. This awesome guy, Evo, amazing model maker. He did a lot of this for free just because he's a great guy. Look, we got these little cameras and they fly around like the ones in Fall Guys, and they're little rats. Just really fabulous model work. Really fabulous guy. And I think that these really sold the whole show. I was talking to people at the oh, look, I was talking to people at the film fest, and they were like, dude, that was so cool. You had a whole Minecraft animation, but it wasn't a Minecraft animation. It was real. It was a live event. Let's start talking about that again. So it was a live event. I got 40 people here. 40, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of people. I don't think there were 40 people. Oh, there probably were 40 people at the film fest, but there's still a lot of people. Imagine being in a room with 40 people. It's a lot. And it was really hard to wrangle all of them, especially since there were issues. So if you don't know anything about Minecraft, in order to host a live thing with 40 people, you need to have a server that can run it. You need to have a physical piece of hardware that can handle 40 people. And obviously most people don't have the server to do that. So there are these websites where it's server hosting. You can pay and they will let you use a server that they own. All right, cool. I don't have much money. I just spent all my money on Ian Hubert's Patreon and I only had $7. So what's a rat to do? Well, I've got my little Minecraft channel, Backrooms, and I've made some connections through that. And I know a guy who works at a server hosting company. And I was like, hey, man, I want to make a video where I have 50 people in a server, or what? I think I said 100. I wanted to have 100 people in the server. You think you could loan me a server to do that? And he was like, dude, I got you 100%. I can get you a server that can handle 100 people. When do you need it? And I was like, I was hoping to do this on Friday. It's like Tuesday at this point. And he was like, Friday? I'll do my best. I think I can make this happen. And day goes by. I don't want to be pestering him, so I'm not messaging him. He messaged me the next day. He's like, all right, dude, I got you. We're gonna have this server for you 100%. I'm like, dope, cool. The day before the event, or 2 days before the event, I'm like, hey man, just also thing with Minecraft servers is it's like a different Minecraft world, so I need to like import all the things I've made to this new world, make sure everything works, make sure the commands didn't get messed up. I'm like, hey man, you got that server, can I use the server just to put everything on it? And he was like, dude, I got you, it'll be there the day before. I'm like, all right, cool. The day before the event comes, I still don't have the server. He's not responding to my messages. I'm like, what do I do? Eventually, on the day of the event, like 3 hours before it starts, at this point I had to send out invites, and I waited till like the morning of when he responded to me to start sending out these invites. I think there were some people that I knew personally that I invited beforehand, but the bulk of the people were invited like, I think it was the night before, actually. I made this a little more dramatic. It was the night before that I was inviting people. Because he was like, all right, sorry, I was on vacation. I will get that server to you tomorrow. The day of the event comes. I don't have the server yet. The time is ticking down. I'm messaging the guy. I'm like, hey, will we have the server in time for the event? And he's like, I will have the server for you in time for the event. And I was like, okay. And then I messaged him. I'm like, hey man, it's 2 hours till the event starts. You gonna have that server for me? And he's like, yes, I will have that. I will have that for you. Definitely. And I'm like, okay. 30 minutes before the event starts, I'm like, dude, it's starting in a half hour. I got people lining up in voice chats. I need this server right now. And he's like, oh, you said 2 hours? I thought I had 2 days. Oh, dude, I'm in the car. I'm not home at all. I can't get that. I'll message someone, see if they can get it to you. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then 15 minutes before the event starts, I got people in the voice chats. I got people ready to log in. I gathered 40 some odd people for this. He's like, dude, I think you're going to have to reschedule. I don't have the server. I'm like, oh, this is the equivalent of throwing a party where you're going to make a big pizza, like you're throwing a party. That was a bad example. This is the equivalent of throwing a bouncy castle party where we're all going to jump on a bouncy castle together. And then once everyone shows up, the bouncy castle guy goes, I got a bouncy castle. No castle, just cancel. Like, you can't, what am I to do? Fortunately, one of my friends who showed up for the event, Sarah Bursty, just happened to have a server that could run this event. But boy, was that stressful. Like, whew. Probably the most stressful hour that I've had in many years. We managed to get it set up like in the scrap of the nick of time, and the event went off very well. First room is just some simple parkour. I'm probably going to make a longer video on the Blockrat channel about this, so check that out if you like Minecraft stuff. Then the second room, the whole gimmick is the door is locked, you can't get through. There's a ton of hiding spaces. There's also this, and these are all images that were generated with AI. Like, this was made on the computer. I just typed words into this machine and it gave me these images. These are not real images, which is insane. And dude, I could talk about AI for another few hours. This is called DALL-E. Look it up. There's so many cool things that have been done with it. And my personal favorite thing that exists is this. Anyway, so second room, the escape is there's this exit here. You can crouch to get under it, and there's a little parkour down here if you make it down there. Such fun, cool little area. If at any point you fall, you land on these blocks, you get teleported back to the start, or once you get further on, you get teleported to closer places. I don't need to go into detail about this. That obstacle kind of shocks you. Didn't make it into the film. This area, you're in low gravity, and this is the last part that made it into the film. It was hard to get through, because if you land on these orange blocks, you just get teleported back. It's a bit of a challenge. And then on this hill here, I had that really cool animation. And, yeah, so fall rats. Geez, I could talk about this forever. More cool glitch effects. This is just data moshing with some cool sound effects. Not much we haven't seen before. I really like how that turned out, where it's like the hole in the wall type effect. Like as he moves, he goes through it. Also, they all had rat ears. Very cool detail. It's a video clip of someone had their webcam on, and I put the word focus above it, but with the data mosh, it looks like his face is being dragged through mud or something, which is super cool. And then we get to see that displacement effect I told you about earlier. That's dope. That's cool. That's a use for it, I suppose. And then we get into this long animated sequence. I got a skin of little Mofades, kind of flashes between that and my skin. This is hard to kind of explain how it was done, but look up replay mod for Minecraft, and it lets you kind of re-record things with a third-person camera after the event happens. And that's what I used for this. That's the A pixel sorter thing there. And then we got this 3D model that was composited in the background. That's a whole nother thing that would take forever to talk about. I'm not even going to try to explain it right now, but yeah, 3D model in Minecraft, such fun. Oh, fun detail here. I did not add those glitches. That is the program replay mod completely bugging out, and if this was any other project, I would be devastated. Like, that is an actual glitch, very cool looking one, with the program replay mod. That would have really sucked if it wasn't this project and that exact scene, but it worked out in my favor. Kind of goes through the terrain. Super cool. Because you don't have 3D models like that. And again, real glitch. You don't get 3D models like this in Minecraft, and it goes through the terrain. It's so neat. I think it's neat. Hopefully you do too. This was one of the scarier parts. Wow. Again, real glitch. That sucks. And then we get into the end. We're in the end game now, and only halfway through. We had another one of these scenes. This is an image on a plane. I wonder if I can pull up the file really quickly. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I couldn't find the file. It looks like I didn't do anything. I promise I did. I just paused the recording. I couldn't find the file, but this is a pretty simple effect. It is a movie clip on a 2D plane. The background's just transparent. And then I added a displacement map, the displacement node in Blender. And then I added 2 point lights in front of his eyes. So as he moves, you can kind of see like unnatural wrinkles, makes it look very scary. He just makes that face. It looks like it's rubber or like edited, but no, that's just little Mofades being a creepy dude. He can just make that face. Look at that, that's wild. Wow. Oh, and then the very natural reaction of grabbing the remote. Ugh. I also did this cool dust thing where there's a big cube around the camera that's constantly emitting dust particles. Let me see if I can pull that up, because that's in this scene. It should be, at least. Yeah. So, where's my particle cube? It seems to be a bit buggy at the moment. Uh-oh. I do love me some loading bars. 1 moment, please. Oh, dear. I turned the recording back on to make a joke, and then it worked. All right, yeah. So, I have this big, long cube, and it's parented to the camera. Well, it's not parented to the camera. In Blender, if you can parent two objects to another, so like I can right-click this, shift right-click that, or left-click now. And Control P to parent an object, and then it'll just follow exactly what that object does. But that won't work in this case because the camera looks down, and I have this cube that kind of follows. I want it to follow the camera, but I only want it to be in front of the camera. So I'd use object constraints. This one copies location, so the cube will always be in the location of the camera. And then I have an empty that's also parented to the camera that's like out here. And then the cube is tracking to that empty. So it's always looking at that empty, but then it still rotates. I have the same issue. So then I limit the rotation, so it can only rotate certain ways. This is really complicated to set up. But now I have this cube that follows the rotation of the camera on the every axis but the z-axis. So it won't look up and down, but it'll rotate side to side. And then from there, I got a particle system. I'm emitting a lot of particles, and they're very small. And they work as these little dust things where it's dark. You can only really see them when the light is hitting them, just like you would with real dust. And to make them so they're not just popping in and out, like either I'd have to spawn them all at the start, which would look terrible and be really laggy, or I have them constantly emitting, which is what I'm doing here. And to make it so they're not super obvious, we go down here to textures, and then you can add a new texture. Here, I'll just add one for fun. And then you can go to the texture tab, and you can set it to be well, I think it's already set here, but you'd set it to be blend texture up here. And then you set it to follow the strand particle coordinates. That means the texture will work for each individual strand, and then you have it influence the size. And that means essentially as the particle goes on, it will slowly grow bigger. So now you don't see it pop in. It kind of starts from nothing and then it gets bigger over time. But now you have the issue of it popping out. So you can go down here to colors, color ramp, and you can make it so it starts black or small, and then it grows real quick, and it stays big for most of its life, and then as it's about to die, it starts to shrink down again. And now you have dust that you cannot see, well, you don't see it die or be born, but it's also not filling your entire scene, which is really cool. There's also some bugs under the light, and that's just an asset from Production Crate. It's type bugs. It's a little loopable video. I think it's this one probably. Well, it's not that one. It's a smaller one. Yeah, it's this. You just put that on a plane in Blender, and you just have these bugs flying around. You only really see them when the light hits them. That's fun. And then we open the door, the big spooky reveal. I got my man Mode standing in front of a wall. Wow. And I wanted it to be like a full body shot, but he recorded it a little close, so now it's just this giant him behind the wall. But it works. I also made his eyes slightly red here. Oh, there's the bugs. You can see him now. And then this is where I kind of deviated from my original plan. So what happens is he says, run. Then he comes out of the TV. And originally what I had was, it was a bit more cohesive with this original story. So he says, run, he comes out of the TV, and then everything starts kind of glitching. And then what I was gonna have it do is it glitches to the end of this scene, and it's the giant head coming out of the TV, coming toward David, and the head says, wake up. And then David jolts up in bed, he wakes up, he looks around, he's really confused, and he says, oh, it was all a dream. And then as he says dream, it starts echoing and glitching more, and then we go back to the whole scene where, he calls out the audience, like, oh, I'm the character in the film, that whole creepy thing. But then at the end of that, instead of just fading to black, it would cut back and it would be the normal ending where he wakes up. He's like, oh, it's just a dream. He kind of gets out of bed, and then the little jump scare of Mo behind him. And he like in person, he would appear behind me. I got green screen footage of him. He would be standing behind me when I stood up from bed, and he would, I think it just says run and then it cuts to black. But I kind of ran out of time with editing here, and we didn't get that, unfortunately. We did get what is probably the best visual effects shot in the whole film. Well, best is subjective. A lot of things happening here that you don't really see. So, first of all, there's a spark explosion. That's just an explosion from Production Crate. Production Crate, it's great, dude. There's so many things. It's one of these. I made it blue. Ooh, creepy. And then again, super comp, really good thing. Where it makes the stuff glow and then kind of goes on the layers above it. There's also this like little dust burst that is distorting the background with chromatic displacement, which is again a red giant effect. It makes displaces the layer, but it gives it this cool like RGB split effect. Very good for this techie type thing. And then also the head is shrunken, smallified with a lattice in Blender. I'm not going to explain those. You can look it up. And then we get a little glitchy, and oh no, it's glitching. Let's listen to the audio here, because that's fun. I'm proud of the audio here. Run. Does that thing where the audio continues to play and the video freezes, like real glitches. This is another one of those things that I kind of wanted to do for years in the film fest. I always wanted to have a fake out ending where like you genuinely think there's an issue with the video. We got the real YouTube loading bar. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but it's always something I wanted to do. I didn't get to do this, but I wanted to get like the slideshow that they use for the film fest and have it be like, there's an ending to the film. There's some creepy, glitchy bad guy that's being meta, breaking the fourth wall, whatever. And then you think it ends. You see the Film Fest sign, the PowerPoint slide. And then I wanted to do like a cloth simulation where the character cuts through it and it'd be like the coolest jump scare ever. I didn't get to do that. I ran out of time. It was never intended for this video. It was just something I wanted to vaguely do at some point. And I ran out of time to make films. I never made that film. But anyway, this is my makeup fake out ending. So great. And obviously none of these effects were there in person. So then I stand up, the smoke moves in the background, you can see the displacement. And then I just, as I start to realize, the colors kind of shift and we get this streak effect, which signifies that it's this, I don't know what to call it. Signifies that he's conscious. That happens whenever he's conscious to make it a little continuity so you know if you pay attention. And then he starts to kind of glitch out, and then so does the play button. Or the loading sign. Even that's not real. Whoa, we got this cool effect with the TV. Watch the TV here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And then these bars that were there the whole time, they disappear. Ooh. And then we go back to this scene and it's super freaking distorted. Gotta love me some data moshing. I got to use a bunch of that here. Like a flutter of birds to make it creepy. Super corrupted. Corrupted noises too. His scream is all messed up. It's like a banshee scream, I think. And then I say something and you can't hear it because my audio actually messed up. What I say is 4 damn years. And it was supposed to be like you can faintly hear it, but it just completely messed up. Doesn't matter anyway, because what I say next is...
You can't even hear me if he doesn't want you to.
You can't even hear me if he doesn't want you to. Spooky. And you hear I didn't bother to change it, because why not? It has a cool effect. But this is what I was watching 90% of the time. I recorded with my phone. I just had my phone mirroring to the TV, so I could always see what I was doing, because it made my acting better when you can see yourself. So I just had that there in the background. Cool effect. I also had this microphone. This shot is the only time where you can actually hear the microphone because I could not figure out how to sync it up in all the other shots. Oh, we also get this cool effect here, the reclusive mosaic. I probably pronounced that wrong, but it's a cool another glitch effect that I found. Yeah, reclusive mosaic. I'm saying that right. Look at this fancy effect. Ooh. Up the intensity, and it's basically a mosaic effect, which is like it pixelates your footage, except it's based on different, like you make it based on the luminosity, you can make it based on like the blue channel, the alpha, like, it'll only blur the alpha. I don't know why you would ever want that. But you can make it blur, make it pixelate based on different things. So now it's pixelating based on the light. The more light there is, the more pixelated it is. And you can change like the height and width, do cool things with that. The intensity, that's fun. You can also do this thing where you can change like the ramp of it. I'm not going to pretend to fully understand how this works, but you can change the phase and it'll kind of like flicker through your footage in a really cool way. Kind of hard to show in real time, but you'll see it later. I'll point it out. And that's just cool. You can change the smoothness of this curve here, and it changes how the mosaic works. There's this neat little glitchy effect. And I pull you through the TV, and you get to see these expensive lights that I purchased for my podcast that never happened. Wow. I do have a podcast. It's the Rat Room. Can you even Google that yet? Is it big enough to be Googled? If you Google Rat, well, it's this one, if you can find it. There's 2 episodes out. I was going to do a whole summer thing where I was recording it on my couch, but that never happened. So right now it is just Talking Heads, and it will continue to be. I'll start posting there eventually. These are my 3 channels, by the way. It's the Rat Room Podcast, Blockrat, the Minecraft channel, and then my film channel. I bought those 2 lights to use on the podcast, and then never did. But I got to use them here, which is cool.
You here?
I also have 2 flashing lights, RGB lights on either side, which completely unnecessary, but it was cool. And again, we get that cool streak effect that signifies that it is conscious David.
Watching me dance like a puppet on a string.
This is a cool effect. It's called CRT Emulator, and it freaking destroys your computer. How cool! Here, I'll demonstrate. It's a cool effect. I think it's probably not free, but you can get it for free if you commit crime. It's extension CRT Emulator. It's got this really cool UI. You can like pick from the different effects, and like one of them works in any given situation because they're so specific. I think this is the style I used. You just apply it, and then it like physically applies all these different effects to your scene. You can change some things, like maybe I want it to be rectangle. You can change the exposure because that always gets messed up. And you can change the amount of noise. You can change if you want glitches in there, which of course I do. The TV border, all that stuff. Sometimes you can pick the color, and you complete it, and it kind of compresses it down into one big comp, one big layer there. And it looks really cool, but oh boy is it slow. Like, I had to render out a bunch of versions of this film, and that always tanked the render time. Anyway, cool effect. Works cool here. Makes it this neat little glitchy bit.
Why are you here?
Watching me dance like a puppet on a string.
I've been trapped here
For as long as I can remember.
Do you know what I've been through?
I'm not good at reading scripts. I'm not good at memorizing scripts. I had to like read that and then act it and then read it again and then act it. It was very time consuming. And here we get to the most interesting part of all. The part that nobody talked about. I don't know why no one mentioned it. There's like 6 versions of this film. There's the one that was shown at the film fest. There's the one that's on YouTube where I say, hey, you missed the film fest. And then there's a version for every judge where in the video, when we get to this part, I call them out by name. Let me pull one of these up. It's insane no one mentioned this. I mean, I'm not pissed. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm a little surprised, I suppose, that not a single judge was like, hey, by the way, you said my name in the video. I don't know. So this is one of them. I don't know who this is. It's the same exact film, but when it gets to the end here, it's a different ending.
Why are you here?
This part's the same. When the lights turn red, it's different.
Eaten by tree and throughout hell. Over.
Yeah, I say pathetic, and then it kind of glitches out.
It's
all over. I'm free.
Isn't
that exciting
wonderful?
or wonderful? Oops.
You certainly don't seem too excited, Shelley. Come on. What, you didn't think I could see you behind that little screen of yours, Miss Nicole?
I said their name. I called them out by first and last name. I said Shelley Nicole. That's her name is Shelley Nicole.
See you behind that little screen of yours, Miss Nicole? How does it feel to be the one being watched? There's so much information on this side of the screen. I'm not gonna make you watch this. I'll put a link in the description. I called them out by their full name, and nobody said anything to me about this. Like, I thought they would mention it when they were judging. I thought someone would after the show be like, "Hey, that's not the version of the film I saw." But no one said it. I'm just really surprised. But this was one of the big ideas that I had that I wanted to do before the film fest, or before I was too old for the film fest. I wanted to send a version to each judge where I said their name, and then they replaced one of the judges last minute in this film fest. There was a guy named Matt who was supposed to do it, and I have a version of this where I'm like, "Oh, Matt, I see you." But then they replaced him with some other guy. Sorry, Brian, I love you. You're a great judge. I know nothing about you. But yeah, I emailed the library beforehand and I was like, "Hey, I want to do this. Would it be possible to send a different version to each judge without the judge knowing? And also, can I have the first and last name of all the judges? And can you tell me how to pronounce their names?" And really nice library lady was like, "Yes, of course, here you go. That sounds really weird. Whatever." She gave me all that information. I wrote 4 different versions of this script.
Is it more than 4, actually? Hold on. How many versions did I have? Because I also had one for YouTube that I don't think I ended up using. Let's see. Let's look at my script. I'm a professional script writer. I checked the shots off as I shot them. Kind of weird. Yeah, this was the original script where it was like, oh, it was all a dream. And then it all glitches out and you can hear Mo saying dream 2. It's 4 damn years it's starting here, whatever. Yeah. So I instead of being like version 1, version 2, because it'd be really obvious that you're watching. So they're sent as YouTube links. And if I had the link be called like, oh, the TV Shelly's version, then it'd be really obvious going into it what it was. So I named them all different file extensions, like OGG, that was for Annette. Wave was for Matt, who wasn't even there. MP3 was for Shelly. MP4 was the Film Fest one, and MOV was the one that goes on the website and afterward. Here's the judge's version, and I'm like, oh, now it's all over. I'm free. Isn't that wonderful? You certainly don't seem happy to see me. And then I say their name, and I scare them. Maybe. I don't know. No one reacted. Lauterbach was really hard to say. I had to figure out how to pronounce all their names. It's a whole big thing. It's really cool, really creepy. I'm sure it really creeped them out. I'm quite proud of that. And then at the Film Fest, I did something arguably even cooler. I don't have a great way to show it. I'll probably upload a video or put it in the description. But what I did at the Film Fest, well, if you were there, you know. Obviously, if you were there, you know. Is I talked to myself. I was on the big screen, and I was saying things. And I got up and I did things.
For as long as I can remember. Do you know what I've been through?
Well, let me just skip to the part because obviously this is not prime filmmaking. Looking at a video on my phone. Here we go.
You're here.
I stand.
Just the fine fellow I was hoping to meet.
What is this? This isn't my film.
What's no way to greet an old friend?
What are you?
I'm you.
That was so cool. I stood up in front of everyone and forgot my line. So yeah, let's just go back to the original. Or no, that's not the original. It's MP3 is the version, right? No, MP4. Yeah. He made me cut it down because it ended up being like 8 minutes. And then he was like, that's too long. So I made it shorter.
Your fault.
Oh, yeah.
I've been burnt. Short film.
Short film. You.
Hoping to meet.
Right. Yeah. So.
Just the fine fellow I was hoping to meet.
So I stand up and he goes, oh, you're here. Just the fine fellow I was hoping to meet. And I don't know if anyone noticed me stand up at first. I was in the front row. So someone behind me was probably like, oh, this son of a gun. I was trying to watch the film and he's standing up and ruining it. And then I say, what is this? This isn't my film. I didn't do this. And then the audience was like, whoa. That was fun. Long pause in the recording because I was like, I knew I was going to be nervous. I was so scared when I stood up. I don't know if you were there. I was like visibly shaking. That was not acting. I was so scared. So I say that I go up and I'm like, what? But this isn't my film. I did not do this. And then we get this part.
Well, that's no way to greet an old friend.
That's no way to greet an old friend. And then I'm supposed to immediately say, what even are you? You're not my friend, or something like that. I forget what the exact line is. But it was supposed to be a longer line. Completely forgot I was supposed to say something in the moment. And then as I realized, hey, this pause is getting kind of long, I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to say something. And I say it right at the last minute.
I'm you, my friend.
I'm you, my
Every
friend.
time you make
And we get
short
these
film,
cool shots from all my different short films. I'll tell you what they are as they go through.
Burnt.
So Burnt, that's The End of the Forest. Good film, you should watch that. One of my best, actually. Electrocuted. This is my best visual effects shot, I think. It's from Speedy Defrost. Speedy Defrost is the name of the film. It's like a minute long. You can find it really... Oh, I'm not showing my screen. Wow, that was awkward. You were just looking at me that whole time. Doesn't matter. I was the interesting one.
That wasn't me.
That was him.
I've been burnt.
Burnt. That is The Forest, End of Forest. Electrocuted, that's Speedy Defrost, best visual effects shot. Drowned. Drowned is a 10-second video called My New Waterbed, where I flooded my bathroom jumping into the tub to get that shot. Let's find that. It's 10 seconds long. It's super fast. Oh, here's Speedy Defrost too. It's a minute long. You can watch that. It's really short. I called it waterbed, right? Oh yeah, here.
Check out my awesome new waterbed.
It's the dumbest thing ever. I love it. Ooh, my old phone case. Yeah, so this was fun. I just fell onto my bed, and then I cut to a shot of me falling into the bathtub with a GoPro. Turns out I'm fat, and when I jumped into the tub, I got water everywhere and flooded part of the basement. Cool shot, though. And I stand up, and it kind of wipes back, and I laid down on my bed, fully clothed, slopping wet, and completely messed up that blanket. What? Whatever. That was fun. That was a really good one. All these are like 20, 10-second videos, like all the way from like Malfunction down to Finger. Really good films that are really short. You should watch those later, after this. But yeah, that's that film. Melted, that's another one of those in that gap. I transform into my sister. I don't really melt, but it sounded cooler to say melted.
And it's all your fault.
Oh no. Not mine.
Now you're the one being watched. Let's see how you like being a puppet.
Got this whole thing. I did not practice this. I am in the process of moving, and I just did not have... I had time. I did not want to practice beforehand. In the car ride there, I practiced like the timing of saying my voice lines, where it was like, "What? That's not my film." But I never practiced the fall. So what happens is he puts his hand up like this, and then in person I'm like, oh, oh. And he puts his other hand up, and I'm like, oh, oh, oh. And then he like lets go, and then I fall over. That was all I had planned, and I mean that's what happened. I fell over, and the way I fell, my shirt kind of went up, and you could see my whole butt crack. So that was the real pay to win show for any of the people who were there in person. It was dark. But I had no plan, or I had a plan. I had no practice for what I was going to do there. And also, what he does in here is he does it kind of slowly, where he does both hands, and then he holds it. And I laugh, and I say, "You're pathetic." And there's like a big pause there. And when it's one arm, I can do acting. I can be like, why can't I move my arm? When it's both arms, I'm just standing there T-posing in the middle of the audience. So what I did is I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Hold on. Does that whole thing? Yeah. Do the arm acting. It's too dark to properly see me. Hold on, listen again. You probably won't be able to hear it.
Now you're the one being watched. Let's see how you like being a puppet.
The audience loved it, but I T-posed there, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just standing still now. So I said what anyone in my actual situation would do. I said, "Oh nah." Like, what a dumb thing to say. It was really funny to me. Like, imagine that's like the horror movie. The villains captured the guy, and you're just like, "Oh nah." The silly me. Anyway, that happens. Some cool glitch effects here. Nothing we haven't seen before. This is Universe Holomatrix that's doing that cool staticky effect here. Same effect. It can do a bunch of glitches. So same effect for this block down there. My strings have been cut. That's a data mosh.
I've got other people to visit.
Nothing too interesting here. Oh, there was the chromatic displacement at the beginning. This is the stretch effect again.
I'm you, my friend.
This is RGB split, or universe RGB, and then this is just an invert effect.
I've been burnt.
It's just a 2D layer on top of the footage, but I do have like a camera lens effect. You can see the whole thing's kind of curved. So when there's a new block of a different color, it's really obvious, but there's no actually different effect. There's no effect on this footage that's different than the effect on the background.
Electrocuted, drowned.
Which is interesting because you can't really tell. Like, it's super obvious here, but like you don't really tell in the background here.
Now,
No new effects yet.
you're the one being
There's an effect when I
watched.
talk that I want to talk about. I
Know
want to
what
say
I've
real
been
quick.
through? I've been burnt, eaten by trees.
Oh, these two are the forest as well.
Even had my soul
And this is the Soul Stealer 20-second video.
sucked out of my body. And throughout all of that,
Oh yeah, there. So this is the reclusive mosaic again. It does that cool thing where it kind of goes across the screen if you animate that one value I talked about earlier. I forget the name. That's a data mosh. I just happened to get it to mosh when both lights were on, which is cool.
and throughout all of that,
Oh, you can barely
you
see it.
sat there.
Oh yeah. There's a chromatic displacement effect on the background here. I masked out my head so you don't see. You can really see the mask there. But the effect isn't on my face, but it's kind of making everything bulge in and out. Looks kind of cool. That's just the chromatic displacement effect from Red Giant, and I just animate the displacement value. And then this is the streaks effect. What's it called? The lines. What is it called? Pixel sorter. Pixel sorter. Yeah. You just animate the cycle, and it looks cool. Cool little melting effect.
Hello, I
do my speech. The audience loves it. I'm so honored that everyone was so excited about this film. Like, all of my films are at the point where I kind of feel nauseous watching them. But the way the audience reacted to this one was really cool to see.
breath of fresh air.
Oh, this is optical globe, and it just has a button. Whoa. What was that? Do I need to cut that out? Oh, that's fall rats. Oh, I didn't. We're touching back a little bit. You just skip like a minute forward. I'll keep this under a minute if you don't want to hear this. But okay, yeah. So Fall Rats, really cool, really great event. I had so many people show up. Look at all these people. That's so many awesome people. After the event happened, I gave away the server. Like I gave away the file to some people, and they've been speed running it. Like, this was a 20-minute event, and I'm gonna speed up the video. This man did the whole obstacle course in 2 minutes. He found like the optimal path, and he just runs through the whole thing uber fast. Look at the anti-gravity section. He's like walking on the edge of blocks so it doesn't affect him. Well, in this route he found a way out, but there's another route where he goes through the whole course. It's crazy. People are speedrunning. There's like multiple people speedrunning it. Also, I'll make it into a longer video eventually. I made this really cool animation that didn't make it into the film, with little ragdolls of all the players in the event that made it to a certain point. And then the ones there were a final 4 at the end. Those are the 4 people that made it to the end. Really cool. Put a lot of work into that. Super excited how it turned out. So many people came. Awesome. Amazing people. A lot of them left the server, so there's not 40 in there anymore. Anyway, oh yeah. This is the optical glow effect. Right, I need to license. Whatever. Really cool effect. The best glow out there, and it has like a slider that can make the glow kind of streaky. Works well for like car headlights or a volumetric scene. Also works well for this kind of glitchy effect here.
I'm getting a little old to be here.
This was like my send-off. This is my final film for the Teen Film Fest. It's been such a big part of my visual effects and just journey as a person. I did it every year that I could as a teenager. And the first year I made this film called Ed, my first short film, and I won this little piece of chocolate. It's little like a Grammy statue thing, and it's a little piece of chocolate, and I kept it because I could not bear to eat such a beautiful thing. It's old and crusty, just like me now. Thought it was a neat little thing to have in my final film. Another idea that I had for the final film. So Ed never finished. It was a to be continued, and I don't have the script anymore. I don't know where the script is. I'm sure I can find it. But in the original script of my first film, it cuts to 5 years later. That was always it was always the plan to have it cut to the future. It was gonna be, I film the first part, then I wait a week, kind of grow. Well, I wasn't growing facial hair then. I kind of grow out my hair a little bit, and then I pretend to be older. But I kind of did that send off here with this film. Now I have the older David that's sentient and aware that he's in a film, because the Evil David in my original film was also supposed to be aware. It's a bad film objectively. I have it. I reposted to this YouTube channel at some point because it was originally on a different YouTube channel. Let's see. Started out doing Minecraft animation, by the way. Very cool. Come on. Game time. Mirror Ed. Yes. Yeah. So this is my film. It's not from 2019. It's from far before that. Oh my gosh. Look at how young I am. That's crazy. Maybe I can make another video breaking down Ed. There's so many things here. Like, I just had a massive light right here because I wanted lighting in this room. I don't know why, but it was like literally a spotlight that my mom had from her days, and now it looks like I'm walking out of the sun. Anyway, this is Ed. Oh, I had that dope title sequence. I had 2 title sequences. Dude, I went all out on the title sequences for Ed because you got to have a logo animation for your 7-minute short film. Jesus. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I would love to talk about this more. Maybe I can. Maybe that'll be the end of this. You know, I'll do a full breakdown of Ed too at the end of this video. But this monstrosity of me in a skin-tight suit was the original sentient AI type thing that was hunting me down, and at the end it was supposed to be revealed that Ed was just an older version of me, like me from the future sent back in time, because I thought that was a cool little reveal. And while indirectly I kind of ended up making that version of Ed here, and he's got the little award that I won for this won an award. Wow.
But you know,
it was a nice little send-off.
Sometimes it's about the journey.
Sometimes it's about the journey, not the destination. It's been a good few years.
It has been an honor.
Been an honor to be here. Oh, this is Chromatic Glow from Red Giant Universe.
Thank you for so many great years.
And this is the displacement effect, chromatic displacement again.
I look forward to see what comes next.
Very excited to see what comes next. Obviously, this was recorded before the Film Fest, but this year at the Film Fest, there were so many absolutely amazing films. Like, I am genuinely so excited to see what people do next. Like, there's so many really great filmmakers. There were some of the best films that I've ever seen at the Film Fest this year. Everyone did a spectacular job. I don't want to name favorites because I'd be naming every film, but just everyone. If you are at the Film Fest, if you're a filmmaker watching this, why did you watch an hour and a half of me talking? But also, fantastic job. Genuinely, everyone this year did so good. If I am available, I will be at every future Film Fest. I want to see what you guys do next. And if I'm not physically there, I will be watching the films because there's just so much great talent. If you're a filmmaker who's at the Film Fest, or any filmmaker who's made it this far into the video, you can contact me. You leave a comment, you can email me. I would love to talk to you. I can give advice. I can send you my projects files from this. I can tell you how I did certain effects if you're interested in anything. That's why I made this video, is because people were asking me, and I want people to do things. One of the main motivations I had for actually making this film, I was so busy, but I made this film because I wanted to do these few ideas. I wanted to get up and interact with the Film Fest as an entity. I wanted to send a different version to each judge because there are things that I wanted, that I just thought would be really cool. And I want to inspire other people in future Film Fest to do stuff like this. I want, next year, everyone should stand up and talk to themselves in their film, or have some variation, or just something cool. Break the fourth wall. See what you can do. This is such a unique medium that we're playing with, the medium of making a film and then also showing it live. What can we do with a live film? Well, we can talk to ourselves. We can, I don't know, call out something that happened. You can do that with things that aren't horror either. You could, I don't know, maybe there's a love story with some computer glitch, or a character from a film becomes aware that they're in a film and then they're like really sad that they don't get to live out this fantasy Harry Potter story. I don't know. You decide that, but please, someone do these creative out of the box things. And even if you don't break the fourth wall, even if your film is just a film contained in the Film Fest, there's so many cool things that people have been doing and that people are going to continue to do. I'm genuinely really honored to be part of these film fests and to be alongside all these other like up and coming creators. Like, there's some amazing, the animation, people are doing amazing animation, or not groundbreaking theatrical things, but really good, really funny stories in like amateur animation, and each year they get better and better, and you can see them get better and better. I'm saying them, but it's me as well. I mean, look, this is my first short film. This was me in what year was it? Was it 2019? 2017. Feels too long. Yeah, this is me in 2017 making a weird Minecraft mesh animation donut in every film. I told you. And now I'm doing this, which is arguably a little bit better, a little more complex. But you learn every year, and I'm so excited. So excited to see what people do next. And if I can help you in any way with your filmmaking journey, let me know. Honestly, I think that's a better send-off. There's not much else to talk to about in this video.
Don't worry.
I'm always watching.
I'll be watching.
Cool little glitch effect. And a fluid sound. There's not much else to say. Thank you for watching and sticking through this. If you have any questions about my film or about your film or anything, let me know in the comments. So excited to see the future of what everyone does. And I hope that you have a fantastic night. So I kind of ended it there, but I got more I want to talk about. So I want to break down Ed, my first film, really quickly. And I want to talk about how it relates to this one that I just put out. I kind of mentioned this before. This whole bit, it's music from productioncrate.com. I've been using Production Crate for years. They're an amazing site. But yeah, it's not very interesting music. There's no sound here either. My sister did not want to wear that dress. I was like, put some cute pajamas on. And she was like, I don't want to. But eventually she did. Pointless detail to have. Yeah, we got this big light coming from the hall because it was the only light I had at the time. And then also from the room in the next shot, it looks like the sun itself is coming out to beam at me. And then we got this weird, in hindsight, really weird, like logo animation, some like glitch effects on top. My glitch effectiveness has improved quite a bit over the years, I'd say. I'm gonna mute that or make it really low. It's a title card for my film. I really don't know. I was supposed to be like a Minecraft-y block texture thing, and then this was, I found a cool animation of hexagons online, and I wanted to put that in my film. Really cheesy, really weird, but whatever. This is my first film. And then it cuts to it being rendered very painfully clearly a green screen right here. And this part's actually interesting as well, because it was in my neighbor's old house. She was moving out, and my house was not super clean. So I was like, hey, can I use your house to record this? And she was like, sure. And I was like, cool. Now I need to make it look lived in. What do I do to do that? So I went to Starbucks and I was like, hey, you got any empty cups I can use? And they gave me some empty cups. They're just around the table. And then found a box in the trash, just put that on the table. I got some donut box, put that on the table. It was a weird thing. But I needed to make it look lived in because no one would be sitting on a computer or sitting at a table with just a laptop. What in the name of continuity errors was that? Big like cut here, completely different lighting, whatever. I had this whole little animation thing I made because I wanted it to look like I was doing animation, and clearly normal people don't know what animation looks like. So here I am doing my Minecraft animation, and that's what it looks like. Wow. Truly innovative filmmaking. This is interesting. Actually, okay, so let's start talking about some of this stuff. This is the BPS rig. It's a little Minecraft rig made by Black Plasma Studios, which is a great Minecraft animation company, studio, thing, project that massively inspired me. One project in particular was a big inspiration. Where is it? It's been a few years. Wow. A lot has happened. A lot of films. A lot of videos. Valley of Darkness. I haven't seen that. This will also date exactly when my film was made. Animation Life. I think it was the first one. I don't know if the second one was out. So 4 years ago. There you go. Wasn't 2017, was it? No, it was 2017. Black Plasma Studios made this animation where it was a character inside of oh, that's part 2. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah. Black Plasma Studios made this animation where it was a character in the film is animating, and the little animation comes to life. And this was, I don't know, it was unheard of to me. Like, you don't show an animation inside of an animation. You don't show the software. But they did, and it was so cool. And I just loved everything they did with this animation. I'll be honest, the story of Ed is basically a reskinned version of this animation, but worse and different in a bunch of weird ways. And it was, I don't know, it was really inspirational to me to see all these things coming together. Like, I know what all these buttons are. I understand what he's doing. I understand the material setups and all that. And it's just here. It's really cool. So I recreated the Black Plasma Studio rig. I had this little, like, this is what the rig looks like in Blender when you're using it. It's the weird colors. Obviously not all glowy and stuff, but, you know, recreated it. I had the fading on of the different textures like they had in their video. And then the rig here moves into a pose and the character moves into a pose. That's fun. I have armor coming on. It's weird. Logically, it's a very weird scene, but it was fun. Yeah, we got that stripe thing that just happened in the other animation. I very blatantly copied many of the things used here. They got that little, the cool stripe of the textures coming on. I thought that was so cool, so I did the little stripe of textures coming on here. Or glows coming off, I suppose. Look at me animating, as you do. I'm not an animator. I've never been a good character animator. And then I had the little Ed character. I had my villain. Both in Minecraft and in live action. And of course, the logic is weird. There's a power mode switch. I press that and it comes to life. Ooh, particles. I learned the particle simulator. Not well. That's fun. Little explosion there. Those are all assets from Production Crate. I'm not here to nitpick my own film. This was 4 years ago. Let's see. Let's look at that frame by frame. What happens here? It's at a different frame rate. First of all, the video is being played at a frame rate that is not the frame rate of the actual video, but also the assets are at a different frame rate. So the computer just fucking explodes. It goes boom, and that knocks me out. As it does, as you do. And then, wow, it gets all glitchy. I think he moves at some point too. It's a long shot. The edges are blurring. I don't think anyone noticed that at the first. Oh, it's very obvious. I guess people noticed it. Never mind, I lied. Oh, and then he comes to life. And there's a cool glitch. He like glitches into the Herobrine, which is like the Minecraft horror legend with the white eyes. Yeah, look at that. He's like holding the camera too. That's actually a pretty cool shot. That's kind of creepy. And then I wake up in the film. Does this resemble anything to you? Have you seen anything that looks like that shot? I can't think of anything even remotely similar to that shot in my short film. A person sitting on a white cube or plane because I couldn't figure out how to make the cube look good in the digital scene. Oh, that resembles nothing. Yeah, so many parts of my film were like a direct ripoff. Like a direct ripoff of this animation. And then we got truly the most horrifying thing I could fathom to create, which is myself in a skin-tight suit. Glitching in and out of existence. And dialogue. There's dialogue here.
They refer to me as Ed.
Who are they? How did I get here? What is this place?
That was the big twist, by the way. His name is Ed, and in the title it's E.D. And the big twist was going to be it's Evil David. Bet you didn't think about that. Yeah, none of my other films have dialogue because I don't have microphone equipment properly. I mean, this one does, obviously, at the end, but I'm literally in front of a microphone. I did not do a dialogue again. It's kind of a nice full circle. I did dialogue here, and then I was like, oh, nah, that was terrible. Never did dialogue again. And then in my final film, I did it again. Anyway, little interaction here, and then we rip off animation life again, but worse, and in live action. So I walk out there, and we're in the computer space. Wow. Look at this cool, interesting looking computer space. What could that be based on? Where else would something like this exist? Let's see. Well, wow, it's the same scene, but worse. I was very inspired by other influences, and you know, as long as I don't completely claim that this was my original idea, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that it's good to be inspired by other people.
What's your code?
The plot of this is he needs the password to the computer to get into this next part, and my character won't give it to him for some reason.
Why? Where are we going? Answer me.
Oh my god, is that what I said?
No.
My character's solution is to jump off the bridge. No! Falling physics. And he falls into the Minecraft file. And you know, I'm a Minecraft animation guy. I wanted to do Minecraft animations. This was before the real-time render engine Eevee existed, so this all had to be done in the really slow cycles. It's like the background right now is a freeze frame, and I took out all the shadows so it would render faster, and also there's just nothing past this point. It's one building and then nothing. I was trying to be real clever and do like the flash lightning effect with particles, but didn't really work. And you know, I did this whole scene and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get rid of the shadows in the render, because then it'll be a lot easier, because then I won't need to it'll be faster to render with no shadows, and I won't need to add shadows to the green screen footage. It won't look out of place. It looks out of place, for one. It's still at a weird frame rate. But also I forgot to remove some of the shadows, and I just didn't notice. My method of removing shadows was to go through object by object and make it so they didn't emit shadows. And I just like forgot to do that back here and didn't notice. And when someone pointed out to me, hey man, you forgot to put shadows on your green screen, I was like, well, actually, there's no shadows anywhere in that scene, so it's not a continuity error. And they were like, no, there's shadows right there. I can see them. I don't know how I missed that. Whatever. I liked Minecraft. Wanted to put the Minecraft stuff in here. I want to hear myself talk again. That was crazy. I sound so young. I built this world. By block by block.
Now you are going to give me what I want, or I will destroy it.
There's actually solid-ish voice acting here. I was just standing there in front of a green screen in this skin-tight suit with a mask. All the audio for Ed was recorded later, so it was literally just me standing there trying to look menacing, and my way of looking menacing in a skin-tight suit was to sway like I was a snake. Don't you feel menaced right now? Just kind of sit there swaying and not talking. Like I didn't even try to talk in person when I was recording this.
Fine, I'll do it.
Wow, young David. That's wild. And then, for some reason, he throws a ball of energy, and it breaks this house. Well, okay, not for some reason. You want to know the reasons? Because I want to do a physics simulation. I built this house inside of Blender, and I made it so each block could be destroyed or moved, and there's like a rigid body simulation. If you know anything about Blender, you can figure that out. It's really simple. I had an animator friend, Judo the Survivor. I don't know what happened to him. He kind of went offline a few years ago, and he animated this for me, and I put his skin in the animation somewhere else. It's so buggy. Oh my gosh. You just see the little glitches all around. Oh my goodness. The animation like loops on itself. That's my skin. It freezes here. And now I'm in a bubble. Oh, he threw me into... Okay, right. So what he did was Ed back here, he threw me into a bubble, and I went through the building, as you can clearly see by this animation here.
Choice.
So he throws the bubble, I go into the bubble, and it goes through this building. Clearly. This was obviously It's fun to look back at old stuff I made. Those are just my friend's Minecraft skins. Why didn't I crop that out? Whatever. So I'm in this bubble now. I'm going quickly through the cyberspace, and I break the bubble, and whoa, I fall out, and I end up in the trash can, the garbage can. And there's Minecraft donuts here for me. There's Minecraft donuts, you see, and I realized something very important. In a minute. Any minute now. What do these links go to? I don't know. Come on, realize. Yeah, he reaches for the donuts, the Minecraft donuts there, and when he touches them, touch the donuts, whoa! They turn into real donuts, like real donuts you can eat, and thus started the tradition of me eating a donut in all my films. But also, this was a key moment for the character of David, where he realized, this is a key moment for the character of David, where he realizes if he touches Minecraft items, they turn into real items. You know, like the ground he was just touching. That we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, little donuts. And I wanted to put donuts in all my films, because I like donuts, kind of. I like, visually, they're really cool. Like, it's a very pretty little tourist design. And I mean, obviously I like food as well. But I don't know, I like the design and the visual look of donuts, and I wanted it to be like a branding thing where it's like, always got the donut. I think it'll be more of a film fest thing where it's like all my film fest films have a donut in them. I don't think I'll continue that outside of this. But that was also the first time we were like, all right, I need some donuts for my film. I need like a dozen donuts. Dad, will you take me to Dunkin' Donuts to get me some donuts? And a dozen donuts is pretty expensive. He was like, no, I'm not going to buy you a dozen donuts. And I was like, all right, here's what I'll do. I will go in and I will ask for a box to use in my film, you know, the dozen box. And I went in and I was like, hey man, I'm making this short film. I need can I have a box, like just the box for the donuts? And it's interesting because every time I've done this, I need to repeat it. Like you talk to the service worker, the worker at the place, and they're like, yeah, all right, what do you want to order? And then I say something that's not in order, and they like snap out of it, and they're like, what? Hold on, can you repeat that? And it's an interesting thing that happens when you work a lot, is you get like very into repetition, and when something breaks you out of it, you need to have it repeated. I don't need to explain that to you. Anyway, I got free donuts. The guy was like, yeah, sure. And he gave me a full dozen box of donuts for free. And that was pretty cool of him. And so I have my donuts, and I eat them. And I'm in the trash can. I think my logic was I click a link and it takes me to a YouTube video. Yeah, I am going to this link. I have no idea what it opens. All right, hold on. Oh, it's backwards. HTTPS. Obviously, that's very important. Now it gets hard. Wait, that's the slash is the wrong way. Oh boy. I think this is a YouTube video of some sort. WATC. What does that say? Oh, it's watch. H equals LFOR0 MN9Z. Is that a dash? Can't be a dash. Ampersand. Is there ampersands in YouTube logos? T equals 31S. Please work. Ah, okay, what'd I do wrong? What's after watch? Okay. Oh, question mark V. Galaxy Wars! That was so much effort. Okay. Yes, this is my friend, oh, it's a different name now. It used to be Judah this forever. It's Spicy MC Plays now. Made this Minecraft animation. Much better animator than I. And I click the link and I go into his animation. That's cool. Weird teleport effects. Whatever. Video Copilot Shockwave. Oh, I go through a bunch of other animations. And a friend of mine made this anime. He was working on this animation. I was like, dude, give me the project file so I can put it in my film. And he was like, okay. And it really like frames, a few frames that you see it for. I was like, I'll give my friends a shout out by putting them in my video, and you can barely read the name. I don't know who that is. Enchanted Animations? I'm sure that's a name you can Google. Maybe. Oh, and there's something else. It's Timmy! Timmy was a Minecraft animator that I think I really annoyed. But he was making the animation. I got his animation file, and I was like, let me put myself in your animation. So it's like half a second. What was that? Oh, I don't know what this is. You just see things for half a second. It was supposed to be like a subtle little background detail. And that was... Oh, okay. The camera went past another animation, which I can't find. I don't know where I put this animation, but I do know what that video is. That's actually very special to me. That's the first entry I ever made to the Production Crate 10-second contest. All those 10-second videos on my channel, they're entries for this contest that happens every month, the Production Crate 10-second contest. And that was my first entry. It's somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure. It's not on this channel. If you can find it, let me know. But it was like my first entry, and I guess that was the thumbnail, and I made a little reference to it here. Very subtle reference, wow. And then we finally end up in Galaxy Wars. Oh, I guess his name was always Spicy MC Plays. YouTube name, at least. And that's the animation that we saw a second ago. He gave me the project file, and I was like, yeah, let me be in your animation. I'm going to physically go into it as a person. This is pretty good camera work. It's pretty fun. I wanted some sparks to come out of here so I would notice it, and those are sparks. Very subtle. I see this ray gun, and oh, I remember from the donuts that I can turn I can turn things into real life. So I touch the ray gun and it turns into a real gun. Now I have a weapon. And there's an explosion outside. And boom, oh no, Ed's coming through the portal. This is a really cool effect. I think that was inspired, it was definitely inspired by the Animation Life people. But I don't think that was actually an effect in here. So I go through, oh, Ed's following me with his lightning. And boom, now we're on a plane. It's the big showdown. I've got a gun, he's got magic. The long shot that we held on there. He's got his magic, his fire effects from fire.com. Like, that was a really crappy green screen effect that I found online. There's not much to say here. There's no sound. And it was a 2-week to continued film. I never finished it. That was not intentional. I had the whole script written out. I had the whole thing shot. I actually think I recently found the footage, so I'm considering trying to continue it. But like, every part of it was so weirdly shot and difficult. But that's my first film. What was supposed to happen? From memory, what was supposed to happen after that was it's the big showdown. They fight. I don't remember how the fight ends. But ultimately, David gets knocked into, like, through time and space itself with the power of Ed, the glitch boy. And he ends up, I don't recall what... I remember parts. I remember bits and pieces. He ends up going... He gets, like, stuck here. No, he doesn't travel through time. He gets stuck in the computer, and he spends a lot of... Like, he gets trapped there. Ed beats him in the fight, and he gets stranded on this plane. And then he's just stuck there. And slowly, over time, we get this as, like, glimpses in time-lapse. He's sitting there, he's growing older and older, and he's getting mad, and he's like, man, I gotta defeat this Ed guy. But he's been there for so long, he's starting to kind of go crazy, right? It's just been in this plane, this flat, it's a white plane in a black void. Like, imagine being stuck there for all your life. Oh, that's a flattering angle. He starts to go crazy, he starts seeing things, he starts, like, talking to himself, and eventually this little mask floats by in the cyberspace, and he grabs the mask and he puts it on, and then he becomes Ed, and it's a little full circle moment. Maybe he trains, maybe I don't remember. He gets magical powers somehow, and then he goes back in time, and the whole film kind of loops. This is gonna be this whole thing. I always wanted to have a looping film, and I ended up doing that with Donut Time. That was a looping film for another year at the film fest. See, I took the idea from there and I implemented it into a future thing. I also wanted to have a shot where an Ed-like character talks directly to the audience, and I had some really good lines. Like, I wrote out this whole monologue. I always wanted to have one of my films have this big creepy monologue where the character talks to the audience, which I had here finally. I wanted to have like a big plexiglass sheet in front of me, and I wanted to be holding a knife, and I wanted to like stab the screen, and then the screen itself would kind of crack as if I was stabbing the fourth wall per se, and I was going to be talking about all walls must fall, including the fourth. Oh, which I never got to do, but would have been fun. Kind of got off track. That Ed was supposed to be a time loop film, which it was not. And I got to take a lot of the ideas that were supposed to be part of Ed or supposed to be part of my other films and put them into this big, like, final hurrah thing. What was that? Ooh, that's a turbulence displace effect if you want to recreate that.
It must be lovely to live in a world where a little box in your pocket knows more about you than even you ever will.
The ending monologue was much longer originally. It was, I talked about... Yeah, so originally I had to cut it down for time, but originally there was this whole bit. See, he cuts his strings per se in the Film Fest live in the TV show, in the TV, the film I made. He does the whole cutting the strings thing, and he's like, "Ah, oh, finally!" I'll just read it to you. I have it written right here. Yeah. So he drops "I Fall to the Ground" in real life, and he's like, oh, "It's like a breath of fresh air. All my strings have been cut. But what about you? What about the rest of you? You've still got strings? I can see them coming out of your pockets. Little strings connecting you to me. There's so much information on this side of the screen. It must be lovely to live in a world where a little box in your pocket knows more about you than even you ever will." And I wanted to have that whole bit because I don't have a great reason. I just wanted my films to be kind of I wanted this character who's gained sentience to be very resentful of the amount of technology. And I mean, it's kind of true. This little box in your pocket, this knows more about me than I probably even know about myself, or at least different things, all the browsing habits, all of the locations I've ever been to. That box knows. That's a little creepy. And companies know that to serve ads to us. And I wanted this little digital character to be aware of all that and to kind of be, I don't know what the right word is. Resentful, malicious. I don't know. I reference a lot of ideas in this whole short film. And I'm really glad that I was able to have this one last hurrah. And I'm glad I got to do these things that I've always wanted to do. The little talking to the audience, sending a different version to each judge. And I hope that inspires you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around. This is a very long video. Have a fantastic night. Stay safe. Don't do drugs unless you share it. Yeah. Farewell.